This is the Newsload.
Hi, I'm Carrie Anne Stevenson, and I'm here with Newsload. And today I am so very excited to be able to interview Dave Merheje. Hi, Dave. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Are you in LA right now?
I am, yes, this is where I reside.
My goodness. Were you near the fires?
Um, I think one night we were kind of close, but other than that, it was not close to us, not close to the area that I'm in.
But was it smoky and unpleasant?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean the air, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're okay.
Me too.
Yeah. Yeah. And now apparently it's all floody.
I think I get. I don't. It's not near me. I feel I should be checking the news maybe, but yeah, I think I was away when that happened.
The apocalypse is all around you, and you're like, it's cool.
It's yeah, exactly, exactly. I don't know what's happening.
It's wonderful, wonderful. So, you're originally from Toronto or close by?
No, I'm originally from Windsor, Ontario. So about 4 hours from Toronto, but I lived in Toronto probably like for 10 years or so, maybe a couple more years after that. Yeah. But I grew up in Windsor, Ontario.
And what do you find the big differences between like Windsor and Toronto compared to like LA culture?
I mean, completely like yeah, from Windsor to Toronto is completely different. Windsor's like more of an border town. So it's kind of a little bit Americanized, I feel. LA complete, yeah, it's just the West Coast completely different, vat more spacious than Toronto in the sense that like it's not as like compact, like tight inside, like tight more. It's like spread out. It's like yeah, spread out suburbs almost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been told the traffic is insane.
Yeah, yeah, you get used to it, you know what I mean? But it's like a major city, so it makes sense.
And you work your life around it. Like you leave an extra hour early just to make sure to deal with traffic, and just that's the way it is.
Yeah, you start to learn certain times to go and you understand, you know what rush hour is. And yeah, you just kind of adapt and then just learn when is probably the more convenient time for you, leave a little extra early.
So, as a stand up comedian, do you feel that some of your older jokes still hold true, or do you retire them and try and use new material all the time?
I mean, you try to like, I try to evolve and grow as much as I can. You'll have like writer's block, and then you'll kind of lean in on, possibly some older stuff. But for the most part, I try to, you know, evolve and if I'm changing, mentalities or emotionally, then I try to match it as much as I can to what I'm feeling
Keep it
at the
fresh. Yeah. Yeah, because like people will have seen your material possibly on Netflix or, on the Kevin Hart LOL or something. And then, you bring the joke back and they're like, oh, I already heard that. And that's got to be so frustrating as a comic because, like, the Rolling Stones can sing Start Me Up for 45 years.
Yeah, it is kind of, yeah, that is frustrating, but it's like, I don't know, it's stand up, it's, you're, I guess music, you listen to it and you can attach like a feeling to it. You can attach a memory and then, when you come see it live, I think you wanna recreate that feeling. So I think with stand up, I mean, I don't really know, but like I feel like a joke is probably is different than a song in a sense that like you're trying to make someone laugh there. So if
You
they've already
want
heard it,
Yeah, you want the freshness. You want to be surprised. You want to be thrown off and create the funny because if you hear it six times over, the joke isn't as funny anymore.
yeah, it's a different emotion. Like music, creating a song and putting a song out is completely different than writing and putting a joke out. So it's a different emotion. It's like obviously a different human emotion, and we absorb not we digest music differently than we're gonna digest stand up.
Yeah.
So I think that's yeah.
How do you feel is the difference between live stand-up performance and working on a show, for instance, like Mr. D?
Oh, I I mean, that was my first time doing like a sitcom, so it was like just completely different in a sense. Stand up, I had been doing it longer, and like with that, you're not getting an immediate response. With stand up, you're there, you're live, so you're getting the results right there. So with acting, you kind of like, have to. It's really, you can get feedback there if someone's like, "Good job," or "Can you do it this way?" But like, yeah, I guess it's the process is completely different. The process and the outcomes are completely different.
Do you question yourself if you're doing, like the Mr. D show, if it's funny because you don't get the laugh? Like if you're live in front of an audience, they respond kind of thing. But when you're in front of the camera, do you have doubt?
Yeah, I mean, I've dealt a lot of times, so I think yeah, I think that's understandable because you're just. But then after, I think the more you do it, and then more you understand the platform and the type of what it is, then you'll just kind of like have more confidence in that. Like, oh, okay, this is. I did the best that I could. I delivered the line how I possibly can, and that's up to now the universe basically. That's up to whoever's going to watch it. They're going to interpret it however they want to. Either they're going to think it's funny or they're not, but that has left me now. I've already put it out there. I could just hope for the best.
Cool. What's Kevin Hart like?
I never met. I think when we did the LOLs, I don't think he was there. That was in Montreal probably. Oh man, what year was that? That was maybe 5 years ago, 2006. I can't even actually remember the year, but like I don't think he might have been there. I didn't see him, but I don't think so. I can't remember, but I remember I was on the last night. I was probably the last taping, second last taping, yeah.
And was there an audition process, or did people see you perform and be like, "We want you on our show"?
I think they were there recording people at Just for Laughs, I believe. I can't remember how the process was. I don't know if I don't remember if I was submitted by my agent or I was submitted by the festival, but I don't I can't really fully remember if I'm being honest. But I
And how
do.
do you feel about Just for Laughs being shut down? Are you hoping that they come back?
I mean, they came back last year and they're coming back this year. So I just think it's the years that I went over time, I was super appreciative, and I have still relationships with a lot of people that work there, and it was for me it was very helpful in my career. It brought me it brought me a lot of joy. It connected me to a lot of people I probably wouldn't have been able to connect to. It brought like great memories. But I think it was that chapter is that chapter. And I think now they have a new thing. I mean, it's still Just for Laughs, but I think it's a fresh start. So I think um it still exists. So I don't think it went away.
Cool.
So it's great.
Did you meet any celebrities that have left you starstruck?
Um, yeah, yeah, of course. I mean, it's like people you meet that you're like, that you're inspired by their work, or it's only human, it's natural, it's human that you just kind of like are in awe of their work, and then you meet them. So I think it's a healthy, it's beautiful. I think, what I'm saying, to be that inspired and excited by somebody. But yeah, I don't, to me, that's, uh, I think there's a joy in that.
Who was your favorite that you were just blown away with?
Oh, I'm not gonna say. I mean, it was all great, but yeah, I'm not gonna
were
say.
you were you giggly and like totally
I mean, I think it was like a nerve thing that you want to do a great job. That's all. I think it's more of a work thing where you're like, I want to do good. So because you respect their work, so you just want to do good. So I don't think it was more of I don't think it was a giddy thing. It was more of like a nerve of like, oh, I want to do well
and leave a
to
good
my best ability.
impression and for them to have good
100%.
memories of you. Yeah, cool.
Well, just to like, because you have the respect for their admiration for their work. So you would hope that, maybe they would be the same way.
Cool, cool, cool. I loved your Netflix special. What was the process of that?
That one was tricky because like I found out later on, I think I found out really like maybe like 2 months out of when it was happening. So or when it was gonna happen. So that process was not necessarily rushed. It was just like I had to put together an act. I had to put together a half hour. I had like an idea of what I was gonna do. So it was kind of it was stressful and like kind of a rush. Yeah.
Yeah, the adrenaline, the deadline, the
Yeah.
expectations.
Yeah, but it was a wonderful experience at the end of the day to be able to be part of that.
Well, it's a great set, and we really enjoy you doing that. Are you when you tour? Do you exercise? Are you trying to stay healthy on the road?
Actually, yeah, recently, probably the last like 3 months, it was more of a, I would try to do it and then I would fall off. So it was like a really long history of like doing it and then falling off from it and straying away. But I think in this last year and this year, I really just kind of, I'm just getting much older. So I do want to put more of a focus on my health to be around as long as I can, to be around my family and to be around friends. So there is a more of a button on being healthy.
And how's dating while you're on tour and such? Is it tough meeting?
I mean, yeah, naturally it is because you're not really like stationary, you know what I'm saying? You're always moving, but like you just have to find a balance. I think that's what I'm trying to do is finding a balance and not rushing anything. But it is hard. You're just traveling and you're in different places, you meet people, you're gone. You don't wanna, it's hard to put that on somebody else, you know?
And also to be vulnerable and to share your intimate heartbreaking stories, and then
Yeah.
trying to stay connected long distance.
Yeah, I mean that's another thing too. I've been through those relationships and it just takes a lot of work at the end of the day. And if you're both willing to put in that work, then it's probably going to work, but it's hard. It's just hard for both sides.
I'm finding keeping it superficial is easier. It probably is not the healthiest way to deal with the relationship, but you keep it light. You don't have to text each other every day.
Yeah, I think it's like I mean if you're just honest and communicate your situation, then I think you don't, you probably could not avoid being that, but you could just kind of be like, hey, this is my situation. I think at the end of the day, if you communicate, if anyone communicates where they're at and where they're going through, I think it just makes everything a lot easier and
Cool.
then just more of an understanding.
Have you had any crazy fans?
No, not. I mean, I think it's just people get excited. I understand that. I think it's just like, you see somebody's work that you just truly enjoy, that you may enjoy, and then you see them in real life. I understand that, like, that is a trippy thing for people, and it's like beautiful. It's like to be like, cared about or to be liked that way. It's like, you put in all this work or you hustle and then, it's kind of like a reward, one aspect of being rewarded in a sense. But yeah, you need them. I mean, they're gonna at the end of the day come to your shows or support your projects. So
Yeah, absolutely. But when they get too much, I've been told sometimes because you are a public figure, they sometimes create a fake relationship that is not on your side.
yeah,
They have this whole fantasy that doesn't exist, and then when they meet you it gets too much, especially if you're posting some comics post their kids, and then the fans are trying to hug the kids and the kids are like, I don't know you, kind of thing. And it being a public figure, it sometimes can get a little nuts.
yeah. I mean, if you can set up probably the best boundaries that you could possibly do, so that you can try to avoid that. But at the end of the day, it's like sometimes it's out of your reach.
What inspires your jokes?
Probably, I mean, a lot of it is family. So like stories or, interactions with people and then interactions, just live it kind of like, day to day. So if I can draw from like a personal experience, it's like that's what inspires me.
How do you deal with an unprofessional comic?
I mean, it really depends. Each case is probably different, but I mean, over time, I think as you grow and mature, you can learn how to like deal with it in the best possible way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think when you're younger, the rage or the frustration is there because you're like, well, why can't you just act normal or just like not act that way? But I think as I don't know, as I grow older, it's like, well, I mean, I don't really know what they're going through, and if they're gonna act that way, I'm just probably distance myself, and I don't really have to engage in a manner that's gonna frustrate me.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
interesting. Younger, you want to fight and you want to fix it and you want to change it. And when you're older, you're like, I don't want to put my effort and energy into this.
well, it's just like none of my business anymore. If that's how you're gonna be and that's how you're gonna act, then I've just kind of distance myself. I don't have to have you in my life, kind of thing.
Cool, 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 cool. Um, is there anything special you want the audience to know about?
Um, uh, I don't know. I don't know. I've never really been asked that in a while, but I mean, just support if you can, support the projects and the stand up if you can. Yeah.
Can we follow you on your website, on Instagram?
Instagram is Dave Merheje. That's Merheje. Website is davemerheje.com. And yeah, so I need to, and then, yeah, those are the places to follow me.
Yeah, and a tour is coming up.
I'm doing I'm doing some shows. I'll be in Ottawa at the Laugh Lounge March 14th, 15th, then Montreal March 20th, then March 21st, Toronto Comedy Danforth, and then in April I'll be at the Timmins Comedy Festival. I think that's April 25th, and then April 26th, Iroquois Falls, which is in that vicinity. But yeah, that's all on.
Fantastic. Wonderful, wonderful. Well, Dave, you're an absolute delight. I can't thank you enough for your
Oh,
time.
thank you.
And if you can just do one more thing for me, if you can say it loud, say it proud. I love Newsload.
I love Newsload.
Thank you so much, Dave. I hope you have an amazing day.
You too. Have a
Bye-bye.
great day. Bye.
This is the Newsload.